want so that you can ask questions about the test. So the first part of class is going to be talking about the test, and then we're going to look at the 7 written work required topics, and I'm going to present those. So let's get started, and at any point that you have a question, please unmute your mic and speak out, because this is all about getting your questions answered. So first, I'm going to go into ALEKS. So let's look and see what we've got in ALEKS. Now, this is the ALEKS course for your class. This is not correct because this is just my student view. I have set myself up as a student. And so this is like a random number here. So there's a few things I want to look at on this sidebar here, which is correct for your class. So up next, Test 2 review objective. So the first thing I want to say about this review objective is it has 25 topics in it. If you have never learned a topic, it will not appear in the Test 2 review objective. So for instance, if I selected 25 topics to put in the review objective, if one of those topics in the review objective you have not learned or have unlearned through a knowledge check, it's not going to show up in that review objective for you. In addition, once you learn a topic, it's going to go to review mode in ALEKS. So you may not see all of the topics that you want to review in the review objective unless you switch between learn mode and also review mode. So let me show you that now. So here's learn mode. That's where you go to learn topics. And if you want to review topics, you need to go to review mode. So I'll go to review mode here and show you. I just clicked on review on the sidebar there on the main menu. I clicked on review on the main menu. I need to click on this drop down here to then be able to get to this drop down, which then I can scroll down to get to the Test 2 review objective. This will give me all of the topics that are in review mode so I can go back and review them. But you still have those other topics in learn mode. So that is a bit, if you want to switch back and forth, that's fine. But I wanted to show you that. And I think I actually myself too. So let's get back in there. It won't take but a minute. And it might have been quicker to get back to where I wanted to get back. Anyway, so there are problems with this Test 2 review objective. Part of your topics could be in review mode. Probably are for almost all of you because you've gotten credit for learning them. So you have to go between the two modes there. My advice to you would be just to do the ones in learn mode that you still need to do to get as many objective points as you can. And then I would strongly recommend using this assignment right here, this Test 2 review no credit assignment, because it will have all 25 questions in one place in one assignment for all students in the class. There's not any learning or unlearning topics involved or anything like that. The first 7 questions of this Test 2 review no credit assignment are your written work required problems. So that's important. When is this assignment due? It's due Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Now that's when it's going to disappear. There's no credit associated with this assignment. That's just when it's going to disappear. Test 2 is you have 2 hours to take the test. There's 17 questions. The first 7 questions will be the written work required topics. It will disappear at 2 p.m. and it opens Thursday at 11 a.m. So if first you've got something unusual going on your life in your life, and you need some more time, like you've got another, well, the best reason I can think of for this is you've got back-to-back tests you're taking that day, and you need a little more time because you can't make it work with the other faculty member. So those are the reasons that I'm looking for. If you've got accommodations, I've already taken care of those, I believe, so you should be good to go. So there aren't a lot of reasons that I would let you change the test time for. So feel free to put questions in the chat. I want to go back to the main menu for a moment. This is assignments is where you're going to start your test. And I'm looking to see instructor resources. I do want to click on that. Test reviews, test 2 must-see topics. That's what I'm going to present today. Those are the 7 written work topics. So that document is in your course, and you shouldn't have an issue finding that. It's in instructor resources on the main menu. This pops up, you click on test reviews, you see test 2 must-see topics. There is something else I want to talk about. I have had some students email me recently, hey, can you open up that objective for me? I got so busy I didn't do 2 objectives. And my response to that student who is not in this particular ALEKS course was, I will not open them because I want you to work on the current objective, which is the test 2 review objective. And if you complete, any of you complete a objective early, meaning you get credit for all of the topics, you can go back and work. So this, and let me be really clear about this because I think it's important to be really clear about this. If I go back right here and I go to this report, which let's look at this report anyway. It'll be good for us to look at this together so you can see. The current objective is due. That is the test 2 review objective is due on 10/14, which is tomorrow night. It's normally a Thursday, but because of the test, it's a Wednesday this time. So if, let's say you've got all credit for all the topics right now, you can go back and work on past due objectives until tomorrow night at 10/14, 2020 at 11:59 p.m. Once you get to that day and time, it's going to open up a new objective that it's going to want you to work on, and ALEKS is going to have you work on that objective first, that new objective first, before you can then go back and work on past due topics. But you will have until tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. to get credit for this objective. And if you want to work on past due ones, if you work on this one early and complete this one early before tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m., you will have some time to go back and work on past due. Do that, you will need to send me a screenshot of it, and you will send that screenshot to me. You will go to assignments here, and you will send that screenshot to me of whatever objective score has changed. I wish there were a better way, but much to my I had to ask Alex about it. They never were clear on whether they would automatically update your score or not. I specifically wrote to them and asked, and they said they do not update your score. So I will need you to send me a screenshot because I like offering that option to students. So you go down to whatever objective it is in assignments, you take a screenshot of the objective name and the score, and you send that to me via email. So now let's go back and take a look here. We are looking at this current objective, test 2 review objective. This is the 25 topics that are in this objective. You can see 48% is low. That's one of the written work topics, and we are going to talk about it today. This evaluating an exponential function is just a graphing calculator problem, so that I'm not too concerned about. The next one I see that is low is inverse functions, linear and discrete. We can talk about that if we have time remaining at the end of class. I have that document already up because we talked about that one in my previous class today. So I'm not sure about this one, some difference in product of two functions. Want to make sure you're working on that. You might see that. Then we're looking at the other ones here. 52%, that's a written work topic. We're going to go over that today. 62% is a written work topic. We're going to go over that today. So you should be all pretty well prepared for the test after you go through some more preparation on your own. And of course, if you need me, I'm only an email away. And so what I want to say, though, if you're going to email me, you're going to get the most out of that email exchange if you tell me a few items, like you tell me what resources you have tried so far. You send me your specific questions, not just say, I need help with this topic. You want to send me your specific questions on that topic. Which resources have you tried? Have you used the explanation page in ALEKS? And if so, where was the first place you got stuck? Something that I have to go by to actually know where you're really needing your help. Also, please send me your written work on the problem so I can see. I need to somehow get in tune with where you actually need the help, because I've already presented my written work to you and have gone through all of those topics, right? In all of those presentations. And if we go back into the student view, you should have access to all of those. And let me make sure that you do, because you can go back to my written work and look at that. That's also another resource for you. Instructor resources, objective notes. There you are. You've got all of those objective notes. So if you have problems with a specific topic, please tell me what resource you're using and where are your questions in that resource. You can pick one of these documents and tell me to go to the document and tell me what your specific questions are. Because without being specific, I can do no more than write up one of these questions over again, you know? So I need your specific questions, and written work really helps, really helps. And just to review, you can always go to a particular topic in ALEKS. Click on this envelope icon over to the right here, this message center. And I should mention that that's the learning page. Let me backtrack a little bit. Let's go back up in right here. I think I got a little ahead of myself. If I click on a particular topic here, over to the side, you're going to see instructor resources. These are great videos that Arizona State University has created for their global online program. And they are short videos. They're great videos. This is videos created by the author of our textbook. You've got, what is this? This is the ebook, the electronic book, a dictionary, and you've got the envelope icon. If you click on the envelope icon, it should open up an email, and it will send me your exact problem that you're working on with exact numbers and all of that. And you can then fill this out. Put in a subject, put your specific questions there. You can attach written work down here. So they've got a good system. It's really hard to help a student without specific questions. So that is very helpful. Any specific questions you can give me. Pick a resources, ask me a specific question about that resource. Tell me which resource you're using. Send me your written, email me, attach it, the written work to this email. That's how I can best help you. And since I've got 4 ALEKS classes testing this week, I really need to be mindful of my time. So it's going to be the less time it takes me to get back to you, the better, because I'm not sure I'm going to get through all of the emails. Any questions so far on helping me help you? So that's the best way I can help you. So I do want to go into Canvas here and talk about, I think I lost my Canvas screen, but that's okay, I'll get it back. I want to go into Canvas. And I will pick this up. This document is not in your particular ALEKS class yet, but I will put it there right after class today. So I'm going to go into one of my online ALEKS classes to show you this. This is a new Canvas announcement that I will be putting in there for you. How to get a clear picture of your government issued photo in order to avoid a testing violation. I considered test 1 to be a learning experience and did not give out any testing violations, but I will for test 2, which is what you're taking on Thursday, test 3, and the comprehensive final. So I will give out testing violations if I need to. I'm hoping I don't have to give out any. I had issues from students with this particular testing violation. This was the one I had the most issues with. And really, students wanted to say it was the computer. And I'm like, no, it's not the computer, really. It's probably more than that. It's probably not the computer. I saw, looking at some of the videos, students were rushing through those pre-check steps. You don't want to rush through the pre-check steps. Those steps are designed to help you, and you want to take your time with those steps. Take your time with every one of those, because if you write to me and say I had problems with the computer or whatever, I'm going to go look at your video and see if you rushed through those steps or not. You don't want to rush through those steps. You want to take your time. So let me take my time now and read this document. No points were deducted for test 1 for testing violations, as it was a learning experience. It is your responsibility to read and thoroughly understand all Canvas announcements and all emails sent by Ann Bear. I would encourage you to reread all of the Canvas announcements about testing and take your time reading them, because you may have overlooked, we all overlook things sometimes, you have overlooked something very important. Points will be deducted from test 2, test 3, and the comprehensive final for any testing violations. I encourage you to take your time with all the steps immediately before the test, reading and understanding all information on the screen as you go. Presenting a clear picture of your government-issued photo ID is a key step in this process. And I say that because all testing centers in this country would not let you take a test in the testing center unless you presented a government-issued photo ID. You are required to take a picture in which I can clearly read both your first and last names. There may be a delay in your webcam taking a picture. With lots of cameras, there's a delay in taking a picture, including your webcam. So they're trying to get a clear picture of you. So if you want to make sure that you hesitate and wait there until you know that the webcam has taken a picture of you. You can take as many pictures of your government-issued photo ID as needed to get a clear picture of both your first and last name. I took 7 pictures. I went in there, I rigged up the system so I could do a good test of this, and I tested it to see. For each picture you take on the left side, you can check it on the right side for readability before proceeding. To take another picture, click on Try Again. See the below screenshot. Not getting a clear picture of your government-issued photo ID in which I can clearly read both your first and last names will result in a testing violation. If for some reason you cannot comply with the above, stop and contact Ann Bear. Do not start the test. So I rigged up a test, and I had to, because the lockdown browser was on, I had to rig up trying to figure out how to take a picture of it. I couldn't just use an ordinary screenshot because the lockdown browser wouldn't allow me to do so. So when you get to the step 6, show your ID. This is the step I'm talking about. In step 5, you've already taken a photo of yourself. So in step 6, I do not want to see a photo of yourself except if it's on your except the one on your government issued photo ID. So on this side, and I had to put a Post-it over it on my computer because it had given me a lighting issue when I wanted to take a picture of the screen. So in this screen, there is a screen underneath this. You want to take a picture of your government issued photo ID on this side. And what's going to happen on the other side is it's going to show you a picture of that ID you just took. If you don't like that picture, if you can't read your first and last names, you want to click on Try Again. I literally clicked on Try Again 7 times to make sure you could click on it as many times as you want. Over here is my picture of my mom, her Arizona driver's license. And we moved from Arizona 10 years ago. So it is not an active ID at this point. So I used it. I didn't want to use my Arkansas driver's license for obvious reasons. So to avoid a violation, keep trying until I can clearly read your first and last name. You will be able to check it over here. You can see Nancy Rudolph here. You can see, so I can see what I need to see. If you take a picture on this side, check it on this side. Once you are satisfied with it, you click on Continue. Keep trying until I can clearly read your first and last name, or you will have in order to avoid a testing violation. And the testing violation is 50% taken off of whatever score you get in ALEKS. So you do not want a testing violation. Any questions on this? This was the biggest violation I saw on test 1. Students wanting to get past this step, and you want to take your time with all these pre-check steps because I'm going to assume you have read all of these steps. in all of these, that you have done all of these steps and read everything in each one of your steps. You want, and that's true with the Canvas announcements. It's just responsibility to know the content of all Canvas announcements and all emails that email correspondence in this course. Any questions on that?
I have a quick question. So let's say you did get a testing violation. Would you let us know that we had one?
Yes, exactly. And the mere fact that you have asked that question leads me to believe you didn't have any testing violations on test one, because I let send every student an email immediately when I saw that they had a testing violation.
Okay, so you did check our like first test.
Yes, I did.
Okay, awesome. That's good to know because I didn't know if you just didn't check them and I was like, I don't know if I did anything wrong. So awesome. Thank you.
Yes, just make sure I can read your first and last names like this. And you
Okay.
might want to angle it a little like I did when you take
Yes,
the picture.
perfect.
Any other questions? Though that was a great question, by the way, because I'm sure other students enjoyed hearing the answer to that. So sometimes I overlook those great questions. So let's go into your Canvas course now. And you're the afternoon class and you're number 9. I do want to just remind you where you upload your written work. Let me go into the student view. And you don't have any choices here. Probably it's not going to be announcements. This grades was put here so you could review your written work. I marked up your written work in ALEKS, so that's why that's here. The only really other one it could be is modules. So you click on modules, scroll down. Here's where you're going to upload your exam 2 written work, just like you did for exam 1. And the written work questions will be the first 7 questions of your exam. So you'll know which ones they are. It'll be convenient. Let's look at announcements. So I would encourage you to go back and reread all announcements about the test. How do I take my exam? That was at NICE, and I created this announcement by setting up a situation where I could, and we've gone over that one before, but that one is the one you're allowed to have by your side, so it can take you through all this taking the test steps. This one we don't need. We know when ALEKS tells us really well when the test is. I just showed that to you before. Proctored testing violations and consequences, very important. I also saw this a couple times with students leaving the testing environment. I had to put an addition on there, just remain in your seat throughout the duration of the test. I had a student taking the test outside on his deck at a table, and I had no problem with that, except for the student got up, walked out of camera view, and I did have a problem with that. So you want to make sure that you're remaining in your seat. So I had no choice but to add that there, because there's some confusion as to what leaving the testing environment means. So testing, so you make sure you know what all these violations are. And if your testing session is found to violate one or more testing protocols, your grade on the respective exam will be reduced by 50%. So let's say you get an 80% on the exam, it will then be reduced by half. Half of 80% is 40%. So you get a 40%, which you obviously do not want. So if you have any questions about any of the violations, please let me know. So these are testing violations right here. Let's go back to announcements and see if there's anything else I want to mention. We talked about uploading written work. So there's no need there required for proctored testing. This talks about the 5 blank sheets of paper. So you want to look at that. So a copy of the Canvas announcement, how do I take my exam test? You're allowed a copy of that. That's what I was mentioning before. So that will lead you through setting up the testing process so that you can get to your test. And I want to mention the lockdown browser. And let's look at this for a moment. Let's go back to this announcement. And I'm just hitting the highlights here because I want to have plenty of time to go over the written work topics. So this is what you're allowed to have as this will be one of those 5 sheets of paper. So you've got 2 sheets to use for your written work that you're going to upload. You've got 1 sheet to use to copy this over, or you can print this off if you have a printer at home, or you can copy it. Open the Chrome browser, open ALEKS, close all other applications, go to the main menu, click on assignments, click on test 1, click on launch lockdown browser, and then read all documentation on the screen, open lockdown browser. You click on that. Beyond that, you should have no trouble at all with the lockdown browser. You don't have to go to your downloads folder or anything like that. All you have to do with regards to the lockdown browser is this step and this step. And those are just clicking on the words. You do nothing else with the browser. So it's all done behind the scenes. It's seamless. It's amazing because last spring there was more to do, and the ALEKS folks have worked with respondents to make it so that it's more seamless than ever. So if you write me about I'm having problems with the lockdown browser, there's really nowhere that you would be having problems with it. So I just want to mention that. So it's just a matter of clicking on 2 items, an item that says this and an item that says this. So I think that's all I want to say about these announcements. Make sure you're looking at all of these and you truly do understand the testing process thoroughly before you take the exam. It's very important. I don't want that to be the stressor. And take your time with the pre-checks. Take your time with all those steps prior to the test. So let's leave student view. I'll come back up to ALEKS for a to our Microsoft Teams meeting to see if there's any questions. So there are 17 problems on the test. 7 of those are the written work topics. There's 10 additional problems that are answers only. So there are 17 questions total on the test. And where you can go to see that is you can go into ALEKS to see that. Well, actually, it's on the home screen in ALEKS. So let's do that. Come on, enter student view. So it's telling you right here, test 2, time allowed, 2 hours, questions 17. Telling you right over to the side here, how many questions there are, telling you when the test is due by, in other words, when does it disappear, and when it starts, when is it available. So there's a lot of useful information over on the side here. So there's just like test 1, test 2, test 3, and the final will all have 17 questions. 7 of those questions will be written work required questions, and the other 10 will be answers only. So you do not need the page that you need to show your written work for, because they will be the first 7 questions. The written work questions are the first 7 questions of the test. So I'm a bit confused. She said she was going to upload at the end of class. Oh, that one announcement that I talked about, the violation. Yes, if you mean that testing violation about showing your government issued photo ID, yes, I will upload that at the beginning of class or at the end of class today. Blair, is that what you're talking about here? So she said she was going to upload at the end of class. I'm a bit confused about what that means. Yes, okay. Yes. Yes, I will do that. I thank you, Blair. Any other questions about testing at this moment? Oh, no, Blair, it's not your fault. There's so much going on, right? It's not your fault at all. So don't think of it that way. No, but I appreciate you speaking out and saying that, but there's nothing to be sorry about. Okay, so let's now take a look at the written work topics. And let me just take a look at the time here so I can budget my time accordingly. It's 12:36 and this class started at noon, so it's done at 1:50. That should be enough time.